You gave them everything. Your money, your time, your back, your knees, your sleep. And now you're sitting in their house, in a small room, wondering why you feel like a stranger. You're not crazy. You're not ungrateful. You just made one mistake. You thought living with your kids would make you happy. I'm going to tell you about
you guys
two women.
came in.
One
Are you ready
lost
for some
everything
dinner?
trying to be a good
hi,
mother.
Grandma.
The other
Yeah, we're
one
starving.
almost did, but she stopped. 3 secrets. That's all it took. If you're over 65, this might be the most important thing you hear this year. Stay with me. Margaret is 74, lives in Houston. Well, she used to live in Houston. Had a nice little apartment, 2 bedrooms, one for sleeping, one for her sewing machine and her books. That was her world. Small, but hers. Then her daughter called. "Mom, come live with us. The kids miss you. We have a spare room. You won't have to worry about rent." Sounds nice, right? Sounds like love. So Margaret sold her furniture, gave up her lease, packed 2 suitcases and moved to Phoenix. First week was great. Grandkids running around, home-cooked dinners. She thought, this is what retirement is supposed to feel like. Second week, the spare room got smaller. Her son-in-law started working from home. Needed the desk, needed the quiet. Margaret's sewing machine went to the garage. Then the garage got too hot, so it went to storage. Then storage cost money, so they sold it. Nobody asked her. By month 3, Margaret was eating dinner in her room. Not because anyone told her to, because she could feel it. That look, that little sigh when she walked into the kitchen. "Oh, Mom, we already ate. There's leftovers in the fridge." She started calling her friend back in Houston, but she'd go to the backyard to make the call, then the bathroom. Then she stopped calling at all because she didn't want to say out loud what was happening. You know what Margaret told me? "I don't have a room. I have a corner. And even that corner doesn't feel like mine. That's not a family. That's a storage unit with feelings." Here's what nobody tells you. When you move into your child's home, you don't gain a family. You lose a kingdom. Your apartment, your kitchen, your schedule, your remote control, that was your kingdom. You had the power to wake up at 4 a.m. and make noise. You had the power to eat cereal for dinner. You had the power to sit in silence for 3 hours and nobody would ask, "Are you okay?" You lose all of that the moment you carry your suitcase through their front door. And the research backs this up. A study published in 2024, big one, followed nearly 15,000 older adults across the country, found something that surprises most people. Seniors who lived independently but had their children nearby reported the highest life satisfaction. Not the ones living with their kids, not the ones living far away, the ones in between, close enough to visit, far enough to breathe. There's even a name for it in the research. An inverted U shape. Too close, unhappy. Too far, unhappy. Just right. That's where the peace is. Margaret didn't know this. She walked straight past the sweet spot and moved into the pressure cooker. And here's the part that really hurts. PBS reported back in 2016, seniors who live alone are actually more likely to rate their own health as excellent or very good than seniors who live with family. Read that again. Alone. Healthier. Not because being alone is great, but because having your own space gives you something no spare room ever will. Control. So secret number 1, guard your space. Don't give it up for a phone call that sounds like love. Love doesn't take your sewing machine. Now let me tell you what happened next. Because Margaret didn't just lose her space, she lost her time. 3 months in, her daughter went back to work. "Mom, can you watch the kids just until 3? Until 3 became until 5. Until 5 became until dinner. Until dinner became every day. Margaret was waking up at 6:30 to pack lunches, driving to school, picking up, making snacks, helping with homework she didn't understand, cleaning up messes she didn't make. She used to walk every morning, 45 minutes around the park near her old apartment. That walk kept her sane. That walk kept her knees working. That walk was the only medicine she actually liked. In Phoenix, she stopped walking. No time, too tired. Her back started hurting. Then her knees. Then her sleep went bad. Then she started forgetting small things. Where she put her glasses, what day it was. She told herself, "I'm just getting old." No, she was getting buried. A study from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, published in 2024, found exactly this. The more hours older adults spend caregiving, the less time they spend exercising, especially women over 65 in multi-generational homes. It's not complicated math. You only have so many hours. Every hour you give to someone else's schedule is an hour stolen from your body. And it gets worse. AARP's latest numbers say there are 63 million caregivers in this country. Average, 25 hours a week. 1 in 4, over 40 hours. That's a full-time job with no paycheck, no benefits, no retirement plan. And the depression rate? 25.6% for caregivers versus 18.6% for non-caregivers. Margaret didn't read that study. She lived it. By month 8, she wasn't walking, wasn't sewing, wasn't calling friends. She was just there, a body in a house that wasn't hers, doing a job she never applied for. Her daughter didn't notice. Not because she's a bad person, because when someone does everything for you quietly, you stop seeing them. They become furniture. Margaret became furniture. Now, let me tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy is 71, lives in Milwaukee. Same situation, almost. Daughter asked her to move in. Grandkids needed help. Dorothy said yes, but Dorothy did something Margaret didn't. After 2 months, Dorothy noticed she was tired all the time. Noticed she stopped going to her book club. Noticed she was eating standing up in the kitchen because there was always someone at the table. And one Tuesday morning, she was folding her grandson's laundry, and she just stopped, put the shirt down, sat on the bed, and said out loud to nobody, "This is not my life." That's the moment. Most people never have it. Margaret never had it. Dorothy did. She didn't scream, didn't fight. She just told her daughter that evening, "I love you. I love these kids, but I need 3 days a week that are mine. No babysitting, no errands, no doctor runs. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, those are my days." Her daughter was upset. "Mom, we need you." Dorothy said, "I know. That's why I'm doing this, because if I break down, you'll need me even more and I won't be there." That's not selfish. That's the smartest thing a 71-year-old woman can say. She started walking again, joined a Tai Chi class on Tuesdays, started writing in a journal every Thursday morning. On Saturdays, she'd drive to the lakefront and just sit. Her daughter was annoyed for about 3 weeks. Then she found a babysitter for those days. And you know what happened? When Dorothy came back on her off days, she was better, more patient, more present, actually laughing again. Her grandson said, "Grandma, you're fun again." That one sentence was worth more than any study. There's a big scoping review, published in 2025, looked at 30 different studies on grandparent caregiving. Guess what they found? Moderate caregiving, a few hours a week, actually protects your brain, keeps you sharp, gives you purpose. But once you cross the line into heavy caregiving, it flips. Depression goes up, health goes down. 56% of the studies found this exact pattern. A little is good. A lot destroys you. Dorothy figured this out on her own, sitting on a bed, holding a kid's shirt. Secret number 2, protect your time. You are not a backup plan. You are not a free daycare. You are a person who is running out of years, and every single one of them matters. Last one. And this is the one nobody wants to hear. Keep your distance. Not because you don't love your kids, because you do. Margaret loved her daughter so much she moved across the state, lost her space, lost her time, lost her health, and you know what she got in return? A relationship that got worse. By month 10, they were barely talking. Her daughter was stressed. Margaret was depressed. The grandkids could feel it. Everyone was in the same house, and everyone was lonely. That's the cruel trick. You move closer to feel less alone, and you end up more alone than ever. The Frontiers in Psychology study, 2025, nearly 15,000 seniors, found that older parents who live near their children but not with them have significantly lower depression scores. The number was 0.373 points lower on the depression scale. Doesn't sound like much? In clinical terms, that's the difference between I'm doing okay and I don't want to get out of bed. Distance isn't cold. Distance is breathing room. Think about it like this. When your daughter calls you on Sunday and says, "Mom, how are you?" and you actually have something to tell her. I went to Tai Chi. I finished my book. I met a nice woman at the park. That call lasts 20 minutes and both of you hang up smiling. But when you live together and she says, "Mom, how was your day?" and your day was laundry, dishes, kids, TV, bed, what do you say? Fine. And she says, okay. And that's it. The relationship dies in the hallway between the kitchen and the spare room, one fine at a time. Dorothy understood this. After 6 months at her daughter's place, she found a small apartment 4 miles away. 4 miles, not 4 states. Her daughter cried, "Mom, are you leaving us?" Dorothy said, "No, I'm coming back to myself, so I have something left to give you." Now she sees the grandkids every weekend. They bake together, go to the park. And when it's time to go home, everybody's still happy. No resentment, no sighing, no fine. That's what distance gives you. It gives you something to miss. And missing someone is the engine of love. You take that away, love runs out of fuel. Here's one more thing, the money. One of the biggest mistakes people make is handing everything over. Your savings, your house, your pension. It's for the kids. No, keep something for yourself. Not because you're greedy, because the moment you have nothing, you have no power. And the moment you have no power, you become a guest in your own life. In Korea, they have a saying, keep at least 5 million won in your account. That's about $4,000. Not a lot, but enough. Enough to take a cab when you want. Enough to buy your own groceries. Enough to leave if you have to. Dorothy kept her savings. Margaret gave hers to help with the down payment on the Phoenix house. Guess which one sleeps better at night? Secret number 3, keep your distance, close enough to love, far enough to live. So, 3 secrets. Guard your space, protect your time, keep your distance. That's it. Not complicated. but so hard to do because everything in your heart is screaming, but they're my children. I should be there. You should. But being there doesn't mean being in their house, folding their laundry, losing your identity one Tuesday at a time. Being there means being whole, being healthy, being present, having your own life so full that when you show up at their door on Saturday, you're not empty. You're overflowing. Margaret is 74. She's back in Houston now, found a new apartment, smaller than the old one. She doesn't have her sewing machine anymore, but she's saving for one. And she walks every morning again. She told me last month, I wasted a year trying to be needed. Now I'm just trying to be me. And for the first time in a long time, that feels like enough. Dorothy is 71, 4 miles from her daughter. She has Tai Chi on Tuesdays, journal on Thursdays, and lakefront on Saturdays. Her grandson calls her Fun Grandma. 2 women, same love, different choices. One gave everything and lost herself. One set a boundary and found herself. You're watching this right now. Maybe you're in Margaret's shoes. Maybe you're about to move. Maybe your daughter just called and said, Mom, we have a spare room. Before you pack that suitcase, remember these 3 things. Your space is yours. Your time is yours. Your life, still yours. Don't give it all away, not even for love, especially not for love. If this helped you, hit that subscribe button. Share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And leave a comment. Tell me which secret hit you the hardest. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere.